Hello everyone, we're doing the Abbasid Eco Wing into 3TC build guide today. And so again, this build you would want to do against Malians, English sometimes, potentially HRE and Abbasid, but it is very situational. It depends on how good a player that you are playing against and how aggressive their civ is going to be. Okay. And that's not to say that you can't go Eco Wing against the other civs, it's just a lot harder to pull off because it can be punished, because you are dumping a lot of resources into economic buildings that don't produce military units. And so you run into a scenario where you may just die against some other civs like Ottoman, French, Rus, Delhi, Mongols. Okay? So we're going to start to load in here. And so what I'm going to do is refer to my villager split a lot by citing the number of villagers I want on each resource from top to bottom, food being the top, then wood, then gold, then stone, as we will be seeing on the left. So first 6 villagers go to berries. I'm not going to worry too much about scouting. I just want to focus on the villager split and getting those 3 TCs up as fast as possible. And so the 7th villager, the one that is the first one built out of your TC, is going to build a house, and you're going to use that house, as you can see here with the white area, to connect the mill into that white area. Okay, and this area is going to be used later on when we build our House of Wisdom, and I'll show that when we get our House of Wisdom up. The next villager that we're going to build is on gold, and we want to go to 704. So we want 7 on food, 0 on wood, and 4 on gold. Okay. Then with the second or third villager that goes to gold, we can build our House of Wisdom. So I'm going to do that with our second villager, but if you don't do it with the second villager, then you can do it with the third or even fourth as well. Okay. So I'm going to build this House of Wisdom, and you can see that the area connects. And so you can see here that if we get 10 structures connected in this area of influence, that we get a plus 15% gather rate for all resources. So it's almost as good as Wheelbarrow, but Wheelbarrow does give the movement speed as well. So we do want to prioritize that sooner rather than later. Okay. So I always want to make sure I have at least 1 extra villager being built. I can queue up more at the beginning of the game because I'm not going to be using that food for anything else. But as a general rule, you want to try and have at least 1 extra villager queued. Now, after you get the 704, we rally to wood, and we're going to be rallying to wood for a while now, until we get up to 7 on wood. And what we're trying to do is to get to 400 food and 200 gold to age up with our economic wing. So usually you'll have 400 food and 200 gold by the time your third villager is building onto that would be gathering wood. Okay, so you just want to watch for that. So second villager out. So usually around when this villager is being built, I will be able to age up, and there it is. And once you click the age up, you want to take 3 villagers off of wood and go, off of food and go to wood. And wood is going to be very important. Everything that we do for the next little bit is going to be based off of our wood count. And so the first 50 wood that we want to use is going to be for a lumber camp that we're going to put on our big tree line. Okay. So we're now at 464, and we want to go up to 474. So we want a total of 7 on wood. And so this next villager here, you can see, makes 7, and then we rally to stone. Okay. The next 50 wood is going to be used for Wheelbarrow, so you should get 50 wood and 150 gold around the same time. Now, there is a variation of this build where you do not get Wheelbarrow, and I'll explain that in a second. But the next 50 wood that we use is for a mining camp for stone. Don't worry if you can't build it right away. You'll have the 50 wood before this villager needs to turn in. Going back to whether to get Wheelbarrow or not, this depends on how aggressive a civ you're playing against. If it's something like English, then I would probably skip Wheelbarrow. in which case you would only go down to 3750 on your gold, and you would take these villagers and put them on the stone. But since I am getting Wheelbarrow, I want to watch my gold and watch it go down to 3600, so that's 3600. Okay. The next 50 wood I'm going to use is to build a house. Again, I want to always try and keep that in my kind of yellow-orangish area of influence. And then as soon as I age up, I'm going to want to do a couple things. I'm going to want to make sure that I have enough gold, so I'm past the 3600 mark, and I get Fertile Crescent, which again reduces the cost of our TC, or TCs, from 400 wood and 350 stone to 300 wood and 262 stone. Okay, so now I want to rally till we have 9 to wood, or 9 to stone, sorry, and then we rally back to wood. Okay, so there's 9, and we rally back to wood. When I rally back to wood, I generally like to get fresh foodstuffs. And so, since we are going to TC, or 2 extra TCs, you have 2 options. You can build 1 TC at a time, or you can build them both at once. If you're finding you're going to be under pressure and you see units coming across, what I would do here, and I'm going to do it in this example, is I'm going to build a TC right on my stone. And so what that does is it protects my stone so I can get enough stone for a 3rd TC. Okay. And then from here, I want to look to see where I want to put my 3rd TC. Ideally, I want food and another resource. So in this case, this is probably a good spot because I have a big stone, gold, and food. Okay, I want to always be building villagers. Okay, and I want to be rallying to wood at this point. Wood is going to be very important because generally what you're going to find is you're going to need to build a lot of buildings even after you get your 3 TCs up. You might need to get military production up, you might need more houses, you might need to refresh your lumber camp. There are a variety of situations. Now, in this time here, if you are under pressure, you are able to, you do see that you have the wood to build a military building, so you can build a barracks or archery range. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on this golden age, so I need 2 extra structures, so I'm going to refresh my mining camp, and then just build an extra house. Okay, and then what I'm looking for in my stone is 676. I want to go down to 676, and then we can go build our 3rd TC, because that will be enough stone. Now, even though I don't have the wood yet, because I've gone for my golden age, you can see that the villagers are dropping in, and by the time I get there, yeah, I have enough. So I'm going to go to TC. Touching gold. Okay, and then from here, I can rally 1 TC to stone, and 1 TC to food, and 1 TC to wood. Now, once you have the 3 TCs up, if you aren't under any pressure, I would still suggest building military buildings so that if your opponent does have military units, you can defend yourself. But I always like to transition to castle as fast as possible, but this doesn't mean to forgo military units. So here we're going to get enough wood, and we're going to throw down a barracks and an archery range when I have the wood, and then we are going to make units to defend ourselves. Okay. And then I'm going to want to start to trickle in gold, and so from here it's kind of you're reacting most of the time to what your opponent is doing. If your opponent is not harassing you at all, what I would suggest you do from here is start to transition to the castle. So you probably want less on wood and more on food and gold. But in this example here, I'm going to be building military buildings and some units. But this is pretty much the end of the build. From here, you just have to react to what your opponent is doing. If you're not being harassed again, try to transition to castle. If you are being harassed, then you'll have to stay on wood more and build military buildings. Okay? Thank you very much. This is the Abbasid Eco Wing 3TC build guide, and I will be doing the military wing in my next video. Thank you, and have a good day.